Cricket, our national treasure? Or dying irrelevance? Bodyline, tactical genius? Or national disgrace? The 100, inspired innovation? Or misguided mistake? Join the cricket conversation with a subscription to the Cricketer magazine.
Welcome to your Thursday night Quarantine Cup action and a really important game for Hampshire and Mason Crane. Mason on the verge of qualification for the last four of the tournament, but he still needs victory against Dan Mousley and Warwickshire this evening as he looks to pull away from Ricardo Vasconcelos and Northamptonshire. Even victory today wouldn't 100% guarantee Mason his place in the last four, but it would go a long way to doing so given his superior boundary countback compared to Northamptonshire. For Mousley, well, we're right at the end of a very difficult campaign for Warwickshire. 4 defeats from 4 and not a lot to shout about. Some batting that has been quite woeful at times, some limp fielding, and nothing has really gone to plan. He says that the membership at Edgbaston are starting to get irritable. Well, a win here might placate them a little bit, but it's more important for what happens at the top of the table as we get over to your commentator, who today is Henry Moran.
Well, hello and welcome along to another fixture in the Quarantine Cup. Today we've got a treat from Group 1 for you as Warwickshire, the Birmingham Bears, controlled by batsman Dan Mousley, take on Hampshire under the leadership of leg spinner Mason Crane. It's been a season of contrasting success, I think it's fair to say, for these sides. Hampshire second in this group, having won all but one of their games. Warwickshire still waiting to get that first victory, despite a much improved performance last time out against Tom Moore's and Nottinghamshire. The two captains are out in the middle. We're almost ready to go with the toss at a sun-drenched oval. The toss has been called by Hampshire. Heads is that cry as the coin goes up from Jeetan Patel, the Birmingham Bears captain. And Warwickshire have won the toss. It is a tails. And so, what will the decision be from Dan Mousley? He is electing to have a bowl first. So the captains shake hands. Jeetan Patel, James Vince, and we're almost ready to go. Just a reminder of the rules of this format of the game. 5 overs a side. But if you lose 5 wickets in that time, and it does happen, that's it for your innings. So the pressure is on to make sure that you keep those runs ticking over, but also ensure that you protect the wickets, because it can be devastating to a side if you don't bat out the overs. Craig Miles then is going to open the bowling from the pavilion end, right arm over. Bowled well against Notts last time out. James Vince is waiting, helps it on his way around the corner. Good looking stroke, will that be form? No, it's stopped just in front of the OCS stand, and the throw will come in. See the Hampshire innings get up and running. The score, 1 without loss. James Vince, the captain, leading from the front and timing the ball nicely early on. And Aaron Donald opening alongside Vince, former Glamorgan man, talented young batsman. And waits for Miles, who's continuing, right arm over. Donald waiting, pushing, goes towards a deep gully. There's a cry of yes, no, a little bit of confusion in the end. I think that's a good decision from James Vince at the non-striker's end. Here's cool to say no, there's not going to be a run there, let's not risk it. Donald then. Waiting for Miles, full delivery, goes right through to the keeper. And the score remains 1 without loss. That's a really, really healthy return. You'll be very happy with that if you're Craig Miles early on here. Next delivery, very full again. It's almost gone through. There's an appeal for LBW. What's the umpire say? They've scampered through for leg by, so I don't think there's any bat involved. The umpire says no to the LBW shout. Will we see a review immediately? Yes, we see the signal from Jeetan Patel that they want to have another look at this. Now, I think this could be close. It was very full, tailing in towards the right-handed Donald. What does Edjo tell us? I don't think there's any inside edge there. The question is where that impact is and where that ball's going. Burgess behind the stumps was certainly keen. We know that Craig Miles, the bowler, is pretty certain. Let's see what Hotspot can tell us. Don't think there's bat involved, but if you look there, I just wonder if that might just be missing that off stump. We'll get confirmation from Hawkeye in due course. That's what's going to tell us, and we'll just get a better idea from this spin vision view. Yeah, for me, the ball, it just seems to cut away from the right-hander, and on that evidence, isn't going to go on to hit that off stump. So I can't see this decision being overturned. We'll wait and see what Hawkeye tells us. That will be the ultimate arbiter. And here comes the information we need. So pitching in line, impact, outside off, and yeah, that path of the ball missing the stumps. And so, the one review available to Warwickshire has been used up inside the first over, and an Aaron Donald will not be dismissed. Instead, just that leg by added to the total, and it is 2 without loss. Donald still waiting to get off the mark. He's on strike. Plays it nicely off the back foot. That's a good connection, running away across this fast oval outfield, and that's going to be 4. Beautiful timing from an Aaron Donald. Credit to Mason Crane at the controls, who's really showing nice touch here. A real textbook back foot drive. A sort of stroke you don't often see in this format of the game. It's more about the innovation and the creativity. That's just classic cricket. Full delivery, driven hard, goes as far as mid-off, run through for a single to end the over. 1 over gone, 7 without loss. And this has been a start I think both sides would take. Oliver Hannon-Dolby to bowl the second over, but Dan Mousley will see that it was a decent return in terms of restricting Hampshire to just the 1 boundary from the over. Oliver Hannon-Dolby then. Right arm over, down the leg side it goes. There's a good take behind the stumps from Burgess diving to his left, because that was a loose delivery first up from Hannon-Dolby. And I want to see if that's been signalled wide by the umpire. It's not been. That is a little bit of a surprise. I know the batsman was shuffling about in the crease, but he gets away with one. Hannon-Dolby. Next delivery, very full once again. Goes through the batsman, and Donald, who's got an average of under 1 in this competition so far. With a boundary in the last over, and he's not seeming to get those feet moving quite as he'd want. 7 without loss the score. Hannon-Dolby's in, short delivery this time, hammered into the leg side. That's a good connection. Fielders in the deep, but they're just going to be retrieving the ball that heads over the ropes. 6 runs, 123 yards it goes behind backward square. Fabulous connection from Donald. 13 without loss. Full delivery, helped into the leg side again, out to the deep, but a catch is taken this time. Fielder waiting, and at square leg, then Aaron Donald finds his demise. It was nicely timed, flying off the face of that bat, but the full delivery pays dividends for the Birmingham Bears, and Dan Mousley at the controls could not have picked out that fielder, Ian Bell, in the deep any more perfectly. Donald goes for 11 from 9 deliveries, and the first breakthrough to see Riley Rousseau come to the middle. Left-handed former South African international, one of a clutch of players at Hampshire, of course, who's been on a Colpack deal for the last couple of years. 13 for 1 as the score. Vince will be on strike as the batsman cross. Short delivery, and he's almost playing on. He gets in a bit of a tangle. The ball drops into the leg side. All sorts going on. There's a throw from Burgess hitting the stumps at the non-striker's end. No harm done though. 14 for 1 the score. Rousseau to face his first delivery. Hannon Dolby takes his time and now begins his long approach. Right arm over. Delivery down the leg side. Helped towards deep mid-wicket. Throw comes in. Probably just the one run. It will be just that single. And so the over concludes. 15 for 1 is the score. Hannon Dolby takes that big first wicket. And just that one boundary again. So we've not quite seen the flurry of runs from this Hampshire batting lineup that will suggest a big total, but there's time to catch up. 3 overs left in the innings as Chris Woakes, the World Cup winner, our England international, comes into the attack. He's going to bowl round the wicket to the left-handed Rousseau. It's a short ball and it goes right through everything, and looks like it's going to run down towards the fine leg boundary. And that's going to be 4 byes. I just wonder whether Burgess behind the stumps lost sight of that, because it didn't deviate wildly. There's no contact with the bat or gloves or anything. But once it missed Burgess, no chance for any fielders in the deep to get round. And some bonus runs, because that was a decent delivery. Well directed. 19 for 1 the score. Down the leg side it goes again, and Burgess this time dives to his right and does well to collect, because that was a poor ball and it is signalled wide by the umpire. 20 for 1. Rousseau 1 from 2. A lot's happened since he's been out in the middle. He's waiting, driving hard, into the offside it goes, but there's protection inside the circle and the covers, and it'll just be 1. If you're going to go into the covers in this situation with Riley Rousseau, the left-hander, you've got to be looking really to go over the top, because a packed offside field inside the circle. The protection in the deep is on the leg side, as we can see in the top right-hand corner. Woakes is in, short delivery, hit hard out towards one of those fielders in the deep, drops short of the man at square leg. They'll get through for 1. Oh, it could be trouble, could be a run out. No, home. Vince and Rousseau getting in a bit of a tangle. They almost met at one end. Eventually, sensible decision to limit it to just that single. 22 for 1. Rousseau, the left-hander, will be on strike. Yeah, you look at that graphic in the top right-hand corner, you can see if you can get it inside out, over extra cover, there's runs to be had. Full delivery on the stumps, bowls him! Swinging in towards Rousseau, and Chris Woakes ignites the timbers. Fabulous delivery, swinging late. And it's the end of Riley Rousseau and Chris Woakes. He's a class operator. The full delivery sees a second wicket fall. Riley Rousseau goes for 2, bowled by Chris Woakes. That's a disappointing return for Rousseau, who has seen his stumps shattered by the bowling of Chris Woakes. Out to the middle then, Sam Northeast, former Kent man. The right-hander waits for Chris Woakes, who's in now. Full delivery again. This is pipped off the pads into space behind square on the leg side. Running around to collect the fielder, will throw in. And again, just a little bit of complication and confusion. James Vince and Sam Northeast continuing this trend of just a little bit of uncertainty with the running. 23 for 2 is the Hampshire score. 1 ball left of the 3rd over. Woakes is in, bowls very full, and there's an appeal for LBW. What does the umpire say? We wait for the signal, and the umpire says no. It took a while. That looked a good shout. I wonder if that review hadn't been used in the 1st over, whether we would have seen and checking upstairs, because that looks actually a better shout than the one that was turned down in the first over, but it is just the one wicket in the over for Chris Woakes. And the score isn't exactly electric from Hampshire, but they've got a platform. They need a big over, 24 for 2. Run rate stands at 8 runs and over. We've had 3 of them. Jeetan Patel, the skipper, to bowl to James Vince. Short delivery, pushed into the offside. Finds the gap, that could be 4, should be 4. And the over starts exactly as Hampshire would have wanted it. This oval outfield with all of these strips right across the square, it does mean you get such value for your strokes playing square on this famous old ground. Vince waiting, Patel in and driven into the offside, single taken. They get there eventually, comfortably enough. Northeast on strike. Will he be tempted to go down the ground? There's no protection in the deep straight. It's on the leg side and goes through eventually to the keeper. There's just a little bit of worry for a moment as Burgess collects eventually. Shake of the head from the fielder in the yellow of the Birmingham Bears. Jeetan Patel down the leg side again, well collected by Burgess. That should surely be signalled wide. It is. There's another to the total. Just losing his line a touch, Jeetan Patel. 30 for 2 as Northeast is waiting. That's a better ball. Full, worked into the leg side. That's going to be runs, 4 of them. Actually hit it better than I realised. It was a really nice connection out towards deep mid-wicket. Almost just seemed a little tap. I thought it was going to be 1, maybe even 2, but it's 4. 34 for 2 is the score. 10 from the over already. 2 balls left of it. There's a mistimed drive running as far as Woakes sprinting in from mid-off. And a valuable dot ball. Final ball for Jeetan Patel, the penultimate over of this innings. This has been launched in the air. Has this gone long enough for 6? Will the fielder get round underneath it? Good connection, 6 runs. Sam Northeast concludes the over in the grand manner. 6 runs and an expensive over from Jeetan Patel. 16 runs coming from it. And Dan Mousley turns to Will Rhodes to conclude things. Right arm, fast medium bowler. Yet to take a wicket in the tournament. And James Vince will be on strike with Mason Crane at the controls for Hampshire. Short delivery. Hit in the air. Could be a chance of a catch. The keeper's running round. He's taking the catches. Yeah, finger goes up. I just wondered for a moment whether the ball had dropped a little bit short of Michael Burgess. But no, he got there. And whether they're going to review this, I don't know. It was certainly not a clean connection with bat and ball, and the catch is clean, we can see that. It's whether the ball hit arm or bat or what. That can be the only doubt. And we're just taking another look to see if that was a clean catch. I'm sure it was. I don't think that's going to be an issue. And yet, Vince is on his way for 8. Disappointing innings from the skipper. 8 from 7 deliveries. Just the one boundary in there. Realistically, in this form of the game, you've got to be looking to go at, what, strike rate of 200, really. Liam Dawson to the middle. Another World Cup winner on show today in the Quarantine Cup. Waiting for Will Rhodes. Short delivery once again. Swing and a miss from Dawson. And it goes through to Burgess. Hampshire 40 for 3. Of course, this fixture between two sides, as I mentioned at the start of this game, with very contrasting fortunes so far in the tournament. Hampshire second in the table, Warwickshire still waiting for their first win. Rhodes with 4 balls left of the innings, right arm over, very full, worked off the pads, going to be a single, probably just a single. Yep, fielder waiting a wideish mid-on. And that is just the 1 run boundaries. That's the currency that Hampshire need to be dealing in here. 41 for 3 as Rhodes changes his angle of attack. And then changes back again, decides that with right arm over. As Northeast waits, short delivery, goes through to the keeper. This has been a good hostile over. And Northeast with a quick glance up towards the umpire to say, well, it was just possibly going down a little too far towards the leg side, but no wide is signalled. 2 balls left of the innings. It's short, hit into the leg side, good connection, fielder in the deep running round, but it's found the gap, and that's going to be 6 runs as well. It went flat, it went hard, and crucial runs at the end of the innings for Hampshire here. Mason Crane getting everything right on the controls, and it is 47 for 3. 1 ball left of the innings. North East 17 from 7. This has been a good performance from him. It goes down the leg side. That surely will be signalled a wide, and we'll see another ball in the innings. Yeah, 48 for 3 is the score as the umpire stretches those arms out. North East on 17. Final ball of the innings. It should be. Down the leg side it goes, but this time bat on ball. Fielder in the deep running round, but once again it clears the ropes. 6 runs to finish the innings. And how valuable that could be to Hampshire. Sam North East with a fabulous cameo. 23 for him. And the innings concludes with a big over for Hampshire. That's what they needed. And the pressure will be on Dan Mousley, the Birmingham Bears, yet to get a win in the tournament, who need 55 for victory. A required run rate of exactly 11 and over. Top scorer in the innings, North East with 23 from just 8. Really fine performance from him. And the pressure is on. There's someone in that Warwickshire batting order to do something. Ian Bell could be that man, striding to the middle, having played really nicely in the previous game against Nottinghamshire. Took a lot of runs off Stuart Broad. We're facing Carl Abbott with that equation, the bottom left of our screens. 55 from 30 needed. Bell on strike. Sam Hain will be at the non-strikers end. Dangerous talent at the top of the order. Bell waiting, slip in place. As Abbott is in, short ball. There's a skillful caught behind. Is that a wicket immediately? Yes, finger goes up. Ian Bell goes, and what a breakthrough that is immediately. The experience of Ian Bell, multi-Ashes winner. So many big innings he's played for both Warwickshire and England over the years. Today won't be one of them unless there's something amiss here, because are they going to check and see if there's any reason to change this decision? Not from the evidence we see there. The catch is clean. And McManus, well, a little bemused as to why Ian Bell has chosen to review that. Definitely out. Now wicket falls immediately. Burgess, the keeper, out to the middle. And he has work to do here because the pressure is on in a big way. Abbott, having got the big fish of Ian Bell at the top of the order. There's a little look around. No protection straight down the ground outside the circle. Is Burgess going to be brave? Swing, miss, through to the keeper. And I'm afraid this has been a far from convincing start from Dan Mousley at the controls. Got himself into the side today for the Birmingham Bears. Warwickshire, I wonder if we're going to see him have a bat. Michael Burgess is on strike. Fuller delivery this time, chipped in the air, could be a chance of a catch for the fielder running in, should be, and it is. Catch is taken, the second wicket falls without a run being scored. And Carl Abbott has 2 in the first over of this game. Catching practice to the fielder at mid-on. It wasn't a convincing stroke. Go hard or go home. And in this instance, well, I'm afraid for Burgess, he's heading home with Russo taking the catch. The South African connection for the second wicket. And Warwickshire find themselves at 0 for 2. Pressure on here. And Ed Pollock comes to the middle. That's the selection from Mousley. He's holding himself back, maybe backing himself to see the side home in due course if needs be. And there's so much work to do here. 55 from 27. Sam Hain waiting to face his first ball. Abbott. What a start this has been. Outstanding bowling early on in this innings. Level on his back as he runs right arm over towards Hain. Pushed into the offside. Could be a chance of a catch. It's another! Northeast with the catch this time in the covers. 3 wickets in the over. And we've yet to see a run scored. It is extraordinary cricket at the Oval. You just don't see this sort of thing in 5-over cricket. We expect runs. You think there might be a couple of wickets, but 3 in an over before a run has even been scored. A golden duck for Sam Hain. And this is becoming humiliating for Dan Mousley at the controls for Warwickshire here. It really is. Mason Crane on course for another victory as Chris Woakes comes to the middle. Surely we're not going to see 4 in an over. Could we see the match conclude inside the first over? It could happen. 5 wickets does it. Abbott bowling, that's along the ground. It's well collected by the fielder at square leg. But finally, a run is taken. 1 run. That's all they've scored, Warwickshire here. 3 wickets have fallen already. Woakes on strike for the first time. Full delivery, swing, miss. And through it goes to McManus behind the stumps. And the over concludes. And I think that's as good an over as I've seen in this entire Quarantine Cup competition. 1 run and 3 wickets from it. 54 needed from 24 deliveries as Nathan Lyon comes into the attack. Fielder waiting at long on as Ed Pollock waits to face the man that has been the nemesis for many English batsmen, particularly left-handers, in Ashes series of years gone by. Just think about Moeen Ali's travails in the series down under a couple of years ago. Long-on fielder has been pushed up inside the circle. His line is in. Chipped in the air. Over the infield it goes. That's going to be a boundary. Well, you can understand the decision here from Mason Crane to put that field up inside the circle, the catches that have been put on offer. But with that field setting comes opportunity, and Dan Mousley clears the infield, and the ball goes heading to the ropes to move the score to 5-3. And now we see that field spread out on the leg side. Pollock waiting, and he's bowled! Another wicket, and Nathan Lyon strikes. It was very full, barely had time to turn. Shot was horrible, and stumps out of the ground. This game's nearly done, and it is abject humiliation, I'm afraid, for Dan Mousley and this Warwickshire side. Ed Pollock goes for 5, bowled by Nathan Lyon, and it is really getting pretty embarrassing here. And this is what I wanted to see. Mousley brings himself out to the middle. An average of 13 in the tournament so far. 50 needed from 22. Another wicket falls and it's game over. Mousley waiting for Lyon. Shorter delivery. Wild swing from the batsman. Footwork, timing, shot selection all over the place. The pressure on here in a big way. 5 for 4. Mousley waiting for Lyon. Pips it into the leg side. Nicely played, but the fielder waiting at short mid-wicket does well to collect. Single is taken though. Mousley gets his first run. And the score advances, I say advances, creeps to 6 for 4. 49 needed from 20 deliveries. Chris Woakes on strike. Yet to get a run. Once again we see that field up inside the circle. Woakes is on strike, waiting for Lyon, shorter this time. Cut away behind square. I'm not sure it's got the legs for 4 runs with Abbott in pursuit. They're going to turn for the second run, probably not 3 there. They set off, could be trouble. Oh, it's drama, there could be a run out. Oh, what's going on here? We're going to go upstairs. Could this be the end of the game? Chris Woakes, has he run his bat in first of all? I think there's trouble for Woakes here. Chris Woakes, the England all-rounder. As we see here, McManus throws the ball at the stumps from point-blank range, and Chris Woakes is going to be out here. Run out to conclude the most appalling of innings from a Warwickshire point of view here. It is a devastating performance. And barring something spectacular from Northants, that should see Hampshire through. Warwickshire, meanwhile, another defeat for them. As Hampshire win this game by 46 runs.
Yeah, obviously very happy to go through. That's good. You know, obviously everything you do, you get quite competitive at and want to win. But yeah, no, I was surprised at the margin of victory, because when I was batting, I didn't think I had enough, to be honest. And then, yeah, Dan, he sort of, 3 wickets in the first over, and that was it, really.
Yeah, a bit of an implosion there, and he's been getting better with the bat as the tournament has gone on. So was this a bit of a surprise to see his performance today?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no, I was speaking to him just before the game and finding out actually he'd played in some quite close games and had done quite well. So yeah, no, it was a bit of a surprise, but obviously happy to get through anyway, regardless of how.
We've seen that you've suffered from some of the glitches on this game over the course of the group stage, but I think Dan has suffered a little bit there in the final wicket. What happened?
Yeah, well, I think this is the game giving me one back. I mean, yeah, poor Dan. He said he only called 2 and he started running a third and he didn't slide his bat. Yeah, I've got to feel sorry for him because I know exactly what that feels like. Yeah, hopefully that's all sorted out before the semis.
Any changes do we expect from this? Dan, you were saying that you were starting to hear the dissenting members after defeat number 4. After defeat number 5, do you think that dissent is getting louder?
I think it is. I think my resignation has already been handed across. I've sent in my resignation to the board. Yeah, it's up to them whether they accept that or not.
I think they probably will, given what just happened. Can you reflect on that 8 all out, a tournament low?
I'm pretty speechless, to be fair. It's embarrassing. Apologise to the fans, to the family, to everyone actually who was associated towards me with that game. Relatively low score. I was pretty happy with 54 I think he got. And he hit 6 off the last ball, which is a little bit disappointing, but that would have been 48 if I didn't bowl that last ball, but it didn't go how I wanted to with the bat. When you're 1 for 3 in the first over, you know, like, you're a long way off the 8 ball, so, yeah, it's one of those, well, you can't say it's one of those days, it's one of these dark days, on Cricket 19 for myself personally, and for the club.
And even the game was conspiring against you by the end there, wasn't it? That final wicket just rubbed salt in the wound.
Yeah, I don't think the game's been on my side the last 5 games I've played, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, obviously it sounds like I'm making excuses, but sometimes you need the game to help you out. Unfortunately it didn't, but at the end of the day, I didn't perform well enough in the 5 games I played, and I'm deserved to be out of the competition.
Well, thanks for taking part, Dan. It's been great having you, even though it didn't quite go to plan. So hopefully you will never have to play in any Quarantine Cup again, because hopefully we won't have a cricket season interrupted by a pandemic. But if an opportunity arises, we'd love to have you, even if you have now resigned.
No, it's fine. No problem, Sam. I really enjoyed it, mate. It was a good laugh.
And here's what all that means for Group 1 of the Quarantine Cup. Here, as you can see, Hampshire and Gloucestershire both have 8 points at the top of the table. Hampshire have played all of their games, however. Northamptonshire still have 1 match to play. Ricardo Vasconcelos can still go through with victory over Gloucestershire, but he will need to score a remarkable number of boundaries in the process against a side that has a 100% record in the Quarantine Cup so far. So not an easy ask, but we'll find out tomorrow evening whether Ricardo can do it. Join us on thecricketer.com and the Cricketers YouTube channel from 7.
Cricket, our national treasure? Or dying irrelevance? Bodyline, tactical genius? Or national disgrace? The 100, inspired innovation? Or misguided mistake? Join the cricket conversation with a subscription to the Cricketer magazine.